Hello, how are you? The intention of this video is to present the answers to 10 questions and analyze them. These 10 questions are supposed to emphasize and focus on the content of 4 videos in which the action-oriented approach is used. First, we're going to observe the announcement of the learning outcomes. They are announced and they are placed on a small chart on the side of the whiteboard. And the learning outcomes were, in this case, the names of occupations, places, and goods. Along the classes, the teachers promote the the achievement of the established learning outcomes by introducing and reviewing the language and also by presenting the sentence frames and the vocabulary that the students are going to learn. In this video, the spoken language is reinforced. So the language skill that is reinforced and practiced is speaking. Yes, the class was divided in clear stages, so we could see the warm-up and the pre-task, all the stages of the action-oriented approach were very well presented and divided. The teaching resources were used effectively. In the first video, the teacher used some flashcards for charades. Then they used flashcards to reinforce the sentence frames with the occupations, the places, and the goods. And then they worked with a memory game that were also reinforcing the uh, the the occupations, places, and goods, and they were very well produced. Although in this case, I would consider having bigger flashcards for the sentence frames and the vocabulary, so the students could have better visibility of the vocabulary and the images themselves. There was a point in which the teacher instilled the students to pay attention and to respect the other students who were speaking in front of the class. And also, the teacher was using comprehension checking questions eventually to be sure that the students were understanding the practice that they were completing in the class. I did not observe any moments in which the teachers didn't use any materials. In case I didn't or couldn't use any materials, I would have probably used my own words to tell the students which occupations I wanted them to interpret in the charade games. And also the whiteboard could have been a good resource instead of other printed materials. None of the teachers use digital resources. Um, Maybe with more access to digital resources, if the classroom had a projector and a laptop or a computer, we could have played the games online, like for example the charades or the memory games, which we can find in many good applications. But in this case, I think the way they handled the printed material was very, very good and very accurate. Along the videos, I could notice that both teachers were using formative assessment. Harmer says on page 184, he says that when we use formative assessment, we can test the students so that we can help them to do better next time, and that's a very important issue. I think that in the way students are using and learning the sentence frames and the vocabulary is going to be a good feedback for the teachers to know if the students are learning correctly. Along the videos, I could observe the good cohesion of the activities and the stages of the action-oriented approach. And I thought that it was very good connected. The learning outcomes were established at the beginning, and that was very important because Harmer on page 177 says that we need to consider the learning outcomes. When we plan a class, we need to ask ourselves, what do I want my students to learn? Or what will my students learn? That's a very important fact. And also, learning the outcomes, when we express or explain the learning outcomes to the students, they're going to be engaged in the class. They're going to be more involved and more enthusiastic about it. Like Harmer says on page 178, that any teaching sequence needs to engage the students so they can study better, and it's going to help them activate the language. Well, in this way, I present my answers to the question and my analysis. Thank you so much.